Your 7-year-old is screaming in the living room. Your 5-year-old is crying on the couch. She took my toy. He pushed me first. They're both staring at you, waiting for you to decide who's right, who's wrong, who gets punished, who gets comforted. So you do what you've always done. You investigate, you gather evidence, you make a ruling. Give the toy back. Say you're sorry. Go to your room. You think you just resolved the conflict. But here's what actually happened. You just taught your children that they don't need to solve problems together. You taught them to escalate conflicts until an adult intervenes. You became the judge, the jury, the referee, the external solution they'll wait for every single time. There's a reason Japanese siblings resolve conflicts without constant parental intervention, while your kids can't share a toy without World War III. It's not culture. It's not temperament. It's one counterintuitive principle that transforms sibling rivalry from endless battles into opportunities for genuine problem-solving skills. A principle that teaches children to navigate conflict from the inside out. And by the end of this text, you'll know exactly how to apply it in your home. The cycle you're trapped in. Let me ask you something. How many times this week have you already mediated a sibling fight? Stop hitting. Share that. Both of you time out. And here's what's exhausting. You're doing everything parenting advice tells you to do. You stay calm. You set boundaries. You enforce consequences. But tomorrow, they'll fight again, over the same things. Because nothing changes. Your children don't wake up thinking, how can I resolve disagreements with my sibling peacefully? They wait for the conflict to escalate. They wait for you to swoop in. They wait for you to be the solution. Now here's the part that might sting. Every time you determine who's at fault, you're teaching them they don't need to understand each other's perspective. Every time you impose a solution, you're teaching them they don't need to find one themselves. That's not their fault. Their brains are learning. I don't need to solve this. Mom will figure it out. What happens when you take sides? When we insert ourselves as judge, investigating what happened, deciding who's right, assigning blame, we activate their defense mechanisms. Their prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for empathy and problem-solving, shuts down. They're not learning conflict resolution. They're learning to build a case, defend their position, and wait for external validation. And the moment you're not there to referee, chaos erupts. Because they've never developed the skills to navigate disagreement, negotiate needs, or repair relationships on their own. The truth about sibling conflict. Refereeing and teaching conflict resolution are not the same thing. In fact, they're opposites. When you referee, children depend on you, your judgment, your intervention, your verdict. But when children learn conflict resolution, they develop their own capacity for empathy, negotiation, and repair. Even when you're not watching, even when it's emotionally hard, even when they're both convinced they're right, that's not external control. That's relational competence. The Japanese approach. In Japanese schools and homes, children resolve conflicts with minimal adult intervention. They use peace corners, collaborative problem-solving, and repair conversations without adults dictating outcomes. Teachers practice mimamoru, watchful waiting, standing back observing, trusting children to work through disagreements. And here's what's remarkable. Children do. They apologize without being forced. They negotiate solutions without an adult's blueprint. They repair relationships because they've been given the space and skills to do so. Before you think, that's Japan, my kids would destroy each other, let me stop you. This isn't cultural magic. This isn't about Japanese children being inherently more cooperative. This is neuroscience. This is how brains build empathy, negotiation skills, and emotional regulation. And it works because of one principle most Western parents miss. You don't resolve their conflicts. You teach them how. The principle, Kenka wa Futari no Mondai. In Japanese, there's a saying, Kenka wa Futari no Mondai. A fight is a problem between two people. Not three, not including the parent. The conflict belongs to the children involved. Your job isn't to solve it. Your job is to create the conditions where they can solve it themselves. Think about it like learning to swim. You don't jump in the pool and hold them up every time they struggle. You stay close, you coach. You trust their body to learn buoyancy. Conflict resolution works the same way. You can't build those neural pathways by doing it for them. They have to practice. Their brains have to experience negotiation, compromise, perspective-taking. Their relationships have to learn repair. And that's the rule. You don't take sides. You create space for resolution. The 4 elements neutrality as safety. When a fight erupts, Japanese parents and teachers don't rush to assign blame. They approach with curiosity, not judgment. What's happening here? I see 2 people who are upset. What's going on? This neutrality is critical. When you take sides, even unintentionally, one child becomes the victim, one becomes the villain. Labels stick. Resentment grows. But when you stay neutral, both children feel safe enough to express what's really happening. Their nervous systems calm. Their prefrontal cortex stays online. They can think, not just react. Empathy as bridge. Instead of imposing solutions, Japanese approaches guide children to see each other's perspective. How do you think your sister felt when that happened? What do you think your brother needed in that moment? This isn't just nice parenting language. This is building neural pathways for theory of mind, the ability to understand that others have thoughts, feelings, and needs different from your own. When children practice perspective-taking during conflict, their brains literally develop empathy circuitry. Over time, it becomes automatic. They think about impact before action, collaborative problem-solving as ownership. Here's where most Western parents stop short. After hearing both sides, we tell them what to do. Share the toy, take turns, apologize. But Japanese methods go further. They ask the children to generate solutions. You both want the same thing. What could work for both of you? How can you solve this so everyone feels okay? When children co-create the solution, they activate their prefrontal cortex, the planning and executive function center. The solution becomes theirs. They're invested. They follow through. Because it's not obedience, it's ownership. Repair as relationship skill. Japanese culture emphasizes shiai, the process of repairing relationships after conflict. It's not just about saying sorry, it's about acknowledging impact, making amends, and restoring connection. Parents guide this. Your brother is still upset. What could help him feel better? How can you show your sister you didn't mean to hurt her? This teaches children that conflict doesn't end relationships. It can strengthen them when repaired properly. Their brains encode the full cycle: disagreement, negotiation, repair, reconnection. That's emotional intelligence. How to implement this starting now. Let me give you 5 concrete steps you can use this week. Step 1. Stop investigating, start observing. When a fight breaks out, resist the urge to ask what happened like a detective gathering evidence. Instead, observe with neutral curiosity. I see 2 people who are upset. Or simply, what's going on here? This subtle shift changes everything. You're not gathering facts to determine fault. You're creating space for both children to be heard. Watch what happens. They both start talking, often over each other at first. That's okay. You're modeling that both perspectives matter. Step 2. Reflect feelings without judgment. After hearing both sides, and you will hear both even if it takes time, reflect what you heard without labeling anyone as right or wrong. So you're upset because you were playing with that toy and it got taken. And you're frustrated because you've been waiting for a turn and it felt like forever. Notice, no blame. No, he shouldn't have. No, you were wrong to. Just reflection. Both children feel heard. Their nervous systems begin to calm. Now they can think. Step 3. Guide empathy development. Once emotions have settled slightly, ask perspective-taking questions. How do you think she felt when that happened? What do you think he needed? At first, they might not know. That's normal. You're building a skill. You can offer, I wonder if he felt scared when you pushed. What do you think? Over time, these questions become internalized. They start asking themselves before they act. Step 4. Hand over problem solving. This is the hardest step for most parents, and the most important. Instead of telling them the solution, ask them to find one. You both want to use this toy. What could work for both of you? Then wait. Silence is okay, their brains are working. Eventually, one will suggest something. Maybe we could take turns? Maybe we could play together? Whatever they suggest, support it, even if it's not what you would have chosen. That sounds like a plan you both agree on. Try it and see if it works. Ownership creates follow-through. Step 5. Teach repair, not just apology. After the conflict is resolved, guide repair, not a forced say sorry, but genuine restoration. Your sister is still feeling hurt. What could help her feel better? Maybe it's a hug. Maybe it's offering to play her game next. Maybe it's drawing a picture together. Let them decide. The act of repair, chosen by them, rebuilds the relationship stronger than before. Answering your doubts. You're probably thinking, but what if one child actually did something wrong? Shouldn't there be consequences? Here's what the research shows. When we focus on fault and punishment, children learn to hide wrongdoing and avoid responsibility. But when we focus on impact and repair, children develop genuine accountability. They think about how their actions affect others, not just whether they'll get caught. Or maybe you're thinking, my kids are too young for this. They can't problem solve yet. The truth is, even toddlers can participate in simplified conflict resolution with guidance. You both want the truck. Can you find a way to share, or should we set a timer? You're not expecting perfection, you're building the foundation. Or perhaps, this takes too much time, I just need the fighting to stop now. I understand. You're exhausted. But here's the reality. Refereeing takes time every single day, multiple times a day, for years. Teaching conflict resolution takes time up front. Then your children handle it themselves. You're not adding to your workload, you're investing to reduce it, closing the circle. That living room scene we started with, the screaming, the crying, the expectation that you'll solve everything, doesn't have to be your reality. You don't have to be the judge. You don't have to take sides. You don't have to carry the weight of every sibling disagreement. Because conflict resolution isn't something you do for your children. It's something their brains learn to do automatically, through neutral spaces that feel safe, through guided empathy that builds perspective, through collaborative solutions they create themselves, and through repair that strengthens rather than severs bonds. That's Kenka wa Futari no Mondai. That's relational competence. And it works. Not because it's Japanese, but because it aligns with how children's brains actually develop empathy, negotiation skills, and emotional regulation. If you've been refereeing every fight, you haven't failed. You're learning a different approach. And you can start today. Pick one step. Practice neutral observation. Reflect feelings without blame. Ask one empathy question. Guide one collaborative solution. Start small. Stay consistent. Watch how your children begin solving problems you never knew they could.